So it was back in February when we went out to Arizona for the introduction of the new Toyota RAV4, and we came away from that intro with some kind of mixed feelings. Weren't really sure about the vehicle. Thought we needed to spend more time with it to either confirm our suspicions or find out that, maybe, as with a few vehicles, the more time you spend with it, your opinion changes. Well, here today on Rumblestrip.net and 10-Minute Test Drive, we are going to have a look at the all-new 2013 Toyota RAV4. So the Toyota RAV4 is an interesting vehicle. Right off the bat, is this vehicle the best in its class? And the answer to that right away is no, it's not. Our week with this vehicle has confirmed our initial impressions of the RAV4 from Arizona in that it's good. It's definitely a huge step up from the old RAV4. But in this ultra-competitive segment, in fact, it's the fastest growing segment in the automotive industry in this compact crossover / SUV segment, that there are at least two, maybe three better variants that are other options that are out there, including number one and number two in our mind and from our experience, the Ford Escape and the Hyundai Santa Fe Sport, the 5-passenger version, which we're going to be spending some time with again here very soon. That's not to say that the RAV4 is a bad vehicle, because it's not. It's just that it's not as good. It's sort of like being in a race. You don't win or you don't qualify on pole, maybe you're sort of 5th or 6th. It's not that you're slow, you're just less quick, right? Well, and that's kind of what the RAV4 is. It's a really good, really solid vehicle. But from a material standpoint, from an equipment standpoint, from a performance standpoint, it's just not as good. The interior materials, there are a lot of hard plastics, which is unusual because in the middle of the dash, there's this really nice piece of stitched, it's not leather, but it's, a leather type material that looks very nice. The dash layout is good. However, when you look at the screen and the infotainment system, it feels really small. It's listed at 6.1 inches, but if you hold your phone, let's say an iPod 4, or excuse me, an iPhone 4S in front of it, it's really not that much bigger. It just feels really small in a day and age where 7 and 8 inch screens are the norm. There's an awful lot of hard plastic in here. There's some fake carbon fiber plastic that it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't, it looks a little out of place, to be honest with you. It just doesn't look like it matches. High touch areas, not bad. The cloth that they use for the seats and pieces of the interior, actually quite good. We don't mind the cloth. In fact, the week that we've had this vehicle here, it's the middle of July as we film this in Michigan, and it's been pretty much in the low 90s with 70 and 80% humidity. So the fact that you're not getting into a vehicle with leather or leatherette type seats in the middle of summer when it's been sitting outside, that's actually kind of nice, just to sit in the cloth and you don't have any issues with that. In the winter, it's the same thing. It's as much as everyone likes leather because it gives you a luxury feel, sometimes cloth actually is better. Especially in a vehicle like this that's going to see a lot of family use. Some people say, well, leather's going to be easier to clean with kids. To me, the cloth might last a little bit longer. Hard to say. Don't have kids, can't say. Back seat room in this is actually very good. Lots of leg room in the back seat, better than the Escape. That's for sure. And then the cargo area is not bad. It does, it swallows quite a bit, actually. The engine in this thing, it's okay. It feels underpowered. The numbers as far as horsepower and torque are okay. The problem is that they're very high up in the rev range. So it just doesn't feel like it gets up to speed quickly. Now, that's when you press on the gas hard. It feels like it's making a lot of noise and not accelerating. This is an all-wheel drive version, so it's going to be heavier with more driveline drag. Cruising along at just, stop and go speeds in traffic, it's okay. I mean, it keeps up with traffic just fine. It just, you feel like you want a little bit more power when you put your foot in it, especially on the highway, to change lanes or pass. It's okay. But it would be better if there was a little bit more, especially in a down low range. And while there's a lot of debate going on whether smaller engines with turbochargers are a good or bad thing, tuned right to give you lots of low end torque, which is what most people really want, that's the advantage of that, and you don't have it in this engine. And at times the engine sounds like it lacks a little bit of refinement. Overall, I think how we can describe the Toyota RAV4 is like this. It's more than adequate. It's not best in class, pretty much at about anything. Fuel economy is good. It's pretty much, stick right on what the EPA says. 22 or 23 city, 26 combined, 29 highway. That's essentially what we got in putting about 400 miles in this vehicle. We're kind of curious to see how it did for mileage. Best in class, no. More than adequate, yeah. People are going to buy a Toyota because they like Toyota, they like the quality, they like the knowledge that when you buy a Toyota, you don't have to worry about it. And that's what this vehicle is. It's a good vehicle for people who need a small crossover with the flexibility that it provides and just don't want to worry about it. So if you need sort of a no-brainer in the sense of you don't need to think about it, this is good. It'll do the job. Are there better options in the class? Absolutely.